Welcome to Tantrum House. I'm Kevin Delp.
And I'm Melissa Delp.
Today we're talking about Oaxaca. It's a dice rolling tableau building card game for 2 to 4 players, and it's on Kickstarter this June.
In Oaxaca, you're playing as a family of artisans that actually live in the Mexican city of Oaxaca. Your goal is to complete your crafts and have the most valuable wares to sell in your market stall.
Here's a look at the prototype components. There are cards, dice, wooden cubes, meeples, and player mats.
The game is played over 3 rounds. Throughout the game, players are gathering crafts into their workshop to complete and then placing them in their market stall.
All players roll their 5 dice and can choose to re-roll any of them once. Each player in turn order takes turns by placing one of their dice. You can either gather a handicraft that matches the die face by placing it in your workshop and adding cubes based on the number on the card, or you can craft your wares, which is removing 1 cube from each card that matches the die face. After you've removed all the cubes from a card, you transfer it from your workshop to your market stall.
You can also perform these actions during your turn. Activate up to 2 cards in your market stall, and activate a tourist card from the current round. Each round you can activate only 1 tourist card, and it's a one-time use. Your meeple stays on the card to show that you've already taken the action.
At the end of the game, cards in your market stall are worth points based on the number on the card. Cards still in your workshop are worth only 2 points each.
I like that each deck of cards is a different kind of craft. There's wood carving, jewelry, pottery, textiles, and tin art cards. Also, each deck specializes in different powers or abilities. Jewelry cards can provide more ways to score points. Textile cards introduce player interaction, like transferring some of your cubes to other players' crafts. And some tin art cards help you re-roll dice and manipulate them.
The art in this game is great. I know a lot of what we have is a prototype, but the card art on the front and the back really work perfectly for this game. I do hope the cards will be bigger for the finished game.
The rules are straightforward and pretty easy to understand. Most of the time you're just using your die to either get cards from the certain deck that it matches or craft cards by taking the cubes off of the matching crafts. Now, once you start adding in some of those card powers, it does get a little more complex, but most of them are very easy to understand by just what the card says, and there are some extra explanations in the rules.
I really enjoy this game. You can start comboing your cards together, like change any result to a 1, and then craft with a 1, which lets you remove an additional 3 cubes. And if you place your meeple on a tourist card at just the right time, you can really advance your game.
I thought that 3 rounds was just way too short. Because it's an engine building game, those first few rounds you're just starting to get going, and then by the time you have an engine built, it's round 3 and then the game is over. So maybe I'm just kind of bad at building that engine quickly, but I do think at least having 1 more round might make the game feel more satisfying for me at least.
I like that the dice are used to manipulate what you're trying to accomplish. They're just means to an end. It's like, how can I use these dice to make the best out of my turns? Another cool thing that maybe they could add to the game is maybe different color dice for the players. It wouldn't change the game at all, but I think it would just add some more vibrancy and colors, and maybe it'll be a cool stretch goal.
Yeah, I also wanted to mention that I liked how the decks work. When you use that gather action, you draw 2 cards from the deck, and the card that you don't choose, you get to decide either to put it on top of the deck or on the bottom of the deck. So that does add some interesting decisions, especially with some powerful cards. Do you want to bury it to keep your opponents from getting it? Or do you put it on top and hope that you are the next one to gather again at that deck?
So if you like engine building games like Dominion or tableau building games like Seven Wonders, then I would say check out Oaxaca on Kickstarter.